This video is to show you some super basic things, an intro to the light board here at GK. So number one, this cover should always be on. Please make sure it is on when you get in here and make sure that you put it on when you're done because we want to make sure the dust doesn't hurt the light board. The second tricky thing is the power switch for the light board is in the back. It's pretty much right in the middle, but it's like at the bottom and people have a hard time finding it. So if you have to stand up to find the power switch, it's fine. So once you power it on, it takes a minute or two for it to go through its whole system check. You'll also see that the screen is powering on as well because the screen shows you which channels, which dimmers, which lights you have on. Because obviously the board itself can't actually show you. So once it gets powered on, the screen will be lit up and it will stay. So the most important thing, or one of the most important things for the board, is to make sure that your master switch is all the way up to 100. So your master is like right in the middle. So if your master switch is down, then you're not going to see any lights. This is basically like the intensity for all of the lights, the brightness for all of the lights in the entire auditorium. So you want to make sure this is all the way up so that you can actually, see the lights that you're working with. The other thing is you want to make sure that you are in the right mode. So there's several different modes that you can be in depending on what you're trying to do with the board. So right now I'm going to show you how to turn on individual lights. On our stage, individual lights for the most part are plugged into individual dimmers, and the board controls the dimmers. And the channels, really. So you want to make sure that first you're in channel mode. So that's over here. So you push the channel, and then on the screen, you want to make sure that the screen is telling you what you want it to say. So the screen says select channel numbers. So to figure out which channel you want to turn on, you're going to want to use this handy dandy sheet, this handy dandy paper that Miss Doyle will give you. There's a bunch of copies in the light booth. And you're going to look on the piece of paper to figure out which lights correspond with which channels. So this first row on top, it says third stage lighting bar. So that's for the third electric. That's for the third bar of lights that's most upstage. The second row is the second electric in the middle of the stage. And then the next one says first stage lighting bar. That's for the first electric. That's the lighting bar that's most downstage. And then the fourth one here says apron side lights, second bar. The fifth one says apron side lights, first bar. So both of those are the lights that are on the sides of the house. And then the last one says apron catwalk lighting bar. So those are the lights that are over the catwalk, kind of over the house. So you want to look on this and kind of figure out okay, which lights do I want to turn on? Do I want to turn on some lights that are on stage? Most of those lights are strip lights, the ones in the big giant boxes, but a lot of those have color. And I don't know if you can actually see on the video, but the channel numbers are on here. And then below it, on the first three ones, there's also color. It either says W, R, B, or O. W means that light on that channel is white. R means red, B means blue, and O means orange. So you can look at it and figure out okay, if you wanted a specific color on stage, let's say that you wanted some red, you would look at the red one, and the first channel number for red is 89. So you go to your board, you make sure it's still in channel mode, which it is, and then you go over here to where you can type in some numbers, and I'm going to type in 89. So then if you look on your screen, 89 is yellow now, so it's ready to go, but you haven't told that channel, you haven't told channel 89 what you want it to do yet. So then you got to go back to your board, and you say at, it's right here, So at means you're going to tell channel 89 what intensity, the amount of brightness you want it to be. So you say 89 at, and then your screen says enter intensity. So it's ready. So then you can go in your numbers and you can tell whatever intensity you want. You could do like 20% if you only want it on a little bit. You can do 50% halfway, 75%, 100%, whatever you want, anywhere in between 0 and 100. If I want it all the way on though, instead of saying at 100, so I don't have to type in 100, the easy way to do that is just hit the full button. So I would say channel 89 at full. So if I hit the full button, you can't really see it on stage, but there was one red light that came on stage. And then if I look on the screen, I can see channel 89 is now at full. All right, so that's the same for all of the channels. You just kind of have to look on the piece of paper and figure out which lights you want to turn on, and then turn on those channels on the board. That is the basics of the light board. The other thing is, once you want to release those channels, so let's say that I still got 89 at 100%, and I want to turn it off. I could go into it individually and hit, channel 89 at 00. That would turn it off. But the easiest way to make sure that that's not like mucking up my thing, because I can turn on multiple channels at a time. I could turn on like every single light at a time if I wanted to. But most of the time, if you're like working on a show, if you're building a light cue, you're going to have a couple of different channels on at the same time. So I want to make sure that I come in here and hit the release button. It says REL, release. So I'm going to hit the release button, and then it turns it off. And then I have like a blank canvas, a blank screen again. All right, there's your basics.